The Mary was damaged recently, and I want to repair her. When I say recently, I mean about 2 years ago. But in my defense, I had to save the world in the meantime. I'll start the repairs tomorrow. But what can you do if there's a better use for the plank? Provisions are low. If we sail around much longer, we'll have to get supplies from somewhere, or Critter will have to eat less. Tinned peaches. Oh, empty. Critter, what have you done now?
Mama evil.
Ivo's mother? Oh. Come on, let's get you out of there first. All right. Darn elven magic. Yes, I'll get help. Wait here. No trace of arbor, but he left this ball of string lying here. Perhaps he was going to tie up bushes with it or something. Shorty won't mind, I think. At school, I had a teacher who hit us across the fingers with something like that when we were naughty. I stayed the full 2 weeks nonetheless. Education is the key to success. I'll have to be careful. If the Queen catches me, there'll be no leniency.
I couldn't allow him to propose to you. What sort of life would you have? You'd have lost him so soon, maybe just 50 years after marrying him. Or were you planning to go into the world with him and get old just like him? That would be terrible, and I told him as much. If one truly loves someone, then it's sometimes better to let them go. You know that I can be very convincing. The human spirit is weak. And perhaps there was a tiny bit of magic involved too. If only I'd known that it was already too late.
That darn witch! It all sounded so right. I was already across the sea when it became clear to me that I might have made the biggest mistake of my life. No wonder Ivo hates me. Her mother must never have told her what happened, or she blamed me for everything. Bob is still sitting where I left him months ago. Of course, he's not really called Bob, but his elven name is too complicated and long to remember. And he likes Bob. Hey, Bob.
Nate, my boy. What are you doing here?
Well, Archmage Alistair's been turned into a frog. By a certain Van Buren, some little brat who's running through Seastone and transforming everything.
A little girl transformed the Archmage?
Yes. No idea how she managed it. Ivo said something about Wilbur's wand. And he's in the Dark Woods looking for a book that explains how it can be destroyed. In the meantime, Ivo wanted to organize a few things needed to bring the Archmage back.
What sort of things?
Some book from Lorem Ipsum.
The Book of the Dead?
Yep, that was the one. Then we need a compass that belongs to the Red Pirate, and something called the Spark of Life. That's why she came back here.
I see. It's crucial we turn Alistair back quickly. He might have answers.
Answers? To which questions?
Something is stirring. A great evil. I have felt it for a while now.
The little brat with the wand?
No. Something older, greater, and a great danger for you, for Ivo, for everyone.
That doesn't sound good. But I wouldn't even know where to start. Ivo didn't tell me very much. Or perhaps I didn't listen.
I have the spark of life here. I will give it to my daughter as soon as she wakes. I can't help you with the compass, though. But I saw the lost city of Lorem Ipsum with my own eyes. Oh, long.
If I were to look for Lorem Ipsum, where would I find the ruins of the city?
Under the sands of the Umzu Desert.
Oh, really? Could you be a bit more precise? The desert's pretty big.
I can't remember the exact location. I set out from the Bremen oasis, went into the desert, and just followed my nose. After a few days, I saw the golden roofs of the town glinting in the sun as it set behind them.
So Lorem Ipsum is west of Bremen. But how far into the desert? How many days did you walk, and how quickly?
It was 3,500 years ago. What did you do last
West of Bremen. Your wife trapped Critter in the garden.
Oh, an old trick.
So novices couldn't sneak out of rituals.
But
All right then. Your wife has hexed Ivo, and I'll free both of them.
I would counsel you to patience.
The queen found Ivo in the
I hope that you are speaking of Ivo.
She's put Ivo into a...
Theodora knows it isn't a simple sleep.
And when will that be?
As soon as she knows how...
Years? She's got no right to do that.
Just like the polecat, but
How can we wake up?
without the help of her...
Then we'll have to force her. She can't...
You won't have any luck. Fiora will defend her daughter. But if you can make her see that she was not...
I should talk...
You'd be dead.
Hey! I eavesdropped on the queen. She never told...
What happened? You just disappeared one...
It was all your wife's... I was going to propose to Ivo.
Her words would have just washed over you.
I thought long and hard about whether...
Gods and the wise...
So she could manipulate me because of my feet?
She magnified your doubts and let you loose.
But I didn't want her to... And I certainly didn't want her to come with me out into the...
Would it have not been up to my daughter what sacrifice?
After I left the Elfborough, my head still told me I wouldn't condemn Ivo to a life with me.
But your heart told you that
Later, I thought I'd found a solution.
your heart was right.
Ivo seems to have been in a rush to...
No. No, she didn't throw herself around.
I'd always loved her. But take care, Bob.
I see a man with a...
Like? All that work? All that...
I can see through you, Ned. To do good. We all need gold.
I don't know what you're talking about. Tickle the plant. Tickle the plant. Tickle, tickle, tickle. No problem. Now you go and wait on the Mary, okay? Ivo tidied up here when we flew back from the Wildlands. At least, in reality, all she did was bring confusing order to my orderly... Navigation isn't a complicated... I choose a place on the map. I don't know why other people find it... All right then. That's the desert where Laura... Wait a minute. Cast off.
Stop this thing.
Nope, me neither. I think we all know who's responsible for that.
Put it up.
You stay here. Prepare the cannons and be ready to rescue me if necessary.
Good shot.
Give me that damned elf immediately!
There's no damned elf here. Get lost.
Lady Van Buren, I assume.
Yes? Who are you? What do you want?
My name is Wayne Schlegel from the Seastone Life and Accident Insurance Company.
What do you want here?
There was an accident here. A pirate lost an eye. Now he has to wear a wooden leg. There was clearly a problem in processing the claim.
There's no one here anymore. Apart from that damned red pirate and the elf he's hiding.
Elf? What elf?
A thieving elf! She robbed me while I had to deal with the rest of her kind.
You've been to Elfborough? I heard it's supposed to be very pretty at this time of year.
We couldn't get in. Protective charms that not even my little darling could do anything about.
What a shame.
And then I go back home and find I've been robbed by that damned elf and her mob. They will suffer the consequences.
And you're sure the elf's here?
Of course. She flew here from Seastone on a magic hippogriff. We followed her trail to here, and there are no indications that the hippogriff has flown on.
You seem to have considerable magical power at your command, madam. Why don't you just magic the elf out of there?
If it were really so simple, do you really think I'd be wasting my precious time here? That red scoundrel threatened us! Us! He has a magic weapon in there! Ancient, divine magic which even my Chantal can't do anything against.
Perhaps I could go in there and talk to the red pirate. I'm an insurance salesman. No one would dare do anything to an insurance salesman.
That's true. And every hour that I waste here prevents me from taking care of the transformation of the country. Go in. Convince that old scoundrel.
What you've done with this island is very impressive, Lady Van Buren. Just like in Seastone, you and your daughter are a real asset to this land.
Thank you very much. Politicians so seldom receive the thanks that's due to them. One works tirelessly for years on end for oneself and one's friends, and do the electorate thank you for it? No.
Sad. Very sad. Then I may take my leave, Lady Van Buren?
Yes, yes.
Stop! Stop right there!
Whoa, whoa, easy does it. Put that thing away.
Mate? Have you seen what they've done to my island?
Let me guess. You've redecorated, so the pirates that fled come back.
Oh, it was that little brat and her mother. Turned up here saying I should hand over the elf.
And you explained politely that the elf is no longer here and that unfortunately you can, as such, be of no help.
I kicked them out. Then they started transforming my island. They would have got me too if I didn't have the head.
I see you were at least able to rescue the statues.
Statues? They're my friends. Tell him.
Friends!
I brought them in here long before them witches came. A man shouldn't be alone. Isn't that right, Martha?
Right.
Yeah. I've even heard of people who went mad because they had no one to talk to.
Can't happen to me.
I've got friends, and things are on the up.
Friends? What?
Van Buren's convinced that Ivo's still here. I'm supposed to persuade you to hand her over.
I'd do that at a drop of a hat. That elf is in league with dark forces. She was trying to drive me crazy. Do you hear what she said about the invisible force that determines what we do?
Van Buren isn't going to believe that Ivo's not here.
You've got to get that old bag off my island, Nate. You have to.
I'm here because I need the spirit compass.
What? Not because you missed my company?
And because I've missed your company. But mainly the compass. A friend of mine won't find their way out of the realm of the dead without it.
I don't care about that. It's my compass. Right, Pierre?
Right.
You see?
How about I get Van Buren off the island, and in return you lend me the compass? You'll get it back in one piece.
You get rid of them both, mother and daughter.
That's the deal.
William, what do you say?
It's stew today.
Ah, good old Bill. All you ever think of is food. All right, Nate. If you get those two monstrosities off my island, I'll lend you the compass for a day.
Deal.
Deal.
I've got to go.
See you later.
See you later.
Not much escaped the brat's magic. This hammer is one of the lucky few. Colorful cloths. They don't seem to fulfill any purpose, apart from being colorful. That's the third biggest flower I've ever seen. The flower is too pretty and smells too good to just be left alone.
Just one more piece! Just one more little piece and you've done it!
Hey, Eyes.
Nate, nice to see you again.
Come on. Knowing you, you never lost sight of me.
Your life wasn't so boring over the past few years, I must admit. Good season.
I half expected to find you transformed into a huge ball of fluff with big goggle eyes.
The council leader and the charming Chantal are concentrating their attention on the palace. Fortunately.
I guess you also want her off the island as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. I like tragedies, but I've never wanted to be in...
You know why I'm here?
Of course, Princess Ivo. Oh, look at her. Isn't it sad? An elf in the prime of her life, sleeping away her best years.
I'm going to prevent that from happening.
And I hope you're successful. This is more boring than watching the cricket.
Ivo's father said I can't rescue Ivo against her mother's...
That would be a bad idea. Although I'd like to see what would happen if you tried.
So how can I convince Ivo's mother that she's not acting in her daughter's best interest?
Isn't she? The future's in constant flux. Even I can't see it clearly in my mirrors. A powerful priestess like her might be able to see more, but clearly she doesn't want to.
She thinks Ivo's thrown her life away. And she thinks it's impossible that she could be happy with a child. Or with me.
A difficult task that you do. Come on, number 3! Run! Come on! Yes! Sundancer 1!
Ivo's pregnancy. Do you know who...
Ivo said you weren't the father, but if not you,
I'm not the oracle with 100 eyes. How should I know who it is?
eyes that are blind if there's no reflective surface nearby. Ivo seemed very surprised by the news itself. She spoke of a curse that might have struck her.
A curse. Yeah. Can I have that mirror?
Of course not!
I could always keep an eye on Ivo with it. And maybe it'll come in useful some other way.
It's already useful. It means I can see what happens next in the story. Anyway, I've never given any of my mirrors away. They are rare collector's items.
You collect mirrors? Rewind, delete, stupid question. I gotta go.
Yes, go! Henceforth!
Even if the power of the brat sorcerer grandpa is concentrated in the wand, where did he get all the power from? Hello there.
What do you want? Go away!
I'm Nate. You're the council leader Van Buren's daughter, right?
Uh-huh. And you are not invited to my party.
Quite, pretty, what you've done with the city.
I got it all out of my book. And Mommy says I've got a real artificial talent.
Artistic. Although, artificial works too. Wouldn't it be fun to move on and transform something else? Or to travel back to Seastone and have an afternoon nap?
Mommy's looking for the elf who stole things from us.
Yes, but aren't you the one in charge here? Just tell her you want to go somewhere else.
But I've got everything ready for my tea party, and the guests will arrive any minute.
But, a tea party, huh?
Exactly like in my book. I'm celebrating my birthday. I've got a table, tea, and lovely things to eat, and any minute now the guests will arrive. The Mad Hatter and the White Rabbit. And then I'll get presents.
I'd love to be a guest at your tea party.
Ew, you can't come. You aren't a Mad Hatter, and you're not a White Rabbit either. And you're a boy.
Now listen here.
I can make you pretty.
Thank you, but that's not necessary. And this Hatter and Rabbit? Will you make them appear by magic?
No, I can only change things. They will come here. I've done everything exactly the same as in my book, so they've gotta come. I always get very angry if I don't get exactly what I want.
Okay.
And they all have to bring me presents, and when the Hatter and the White Rabbit are there, then Mommy has to come over as well. Right, Mommy?
What, sweetie?
When the other guests have arrived, then you'll come over too and give me an unbirthday present, right?
Of course, my sweet. As soon as the Mad Hatter and a White Rabbit appear, then I'll give you the most super-duper present ever.
Ha! Did you hear that? The biggest, bestest present ever!
Who is this Mad Hatter you're expecting?
He's a Hatter, and he's mad.
Uh-huh. And what is it that makes him a Hatter?
He wears a top hat and a colorful neckerchief, and I'm not sure why he's mad.
I see. A white rabbit at a tea party? Curious.
You think?
Yeah, and perhaps you should give him a watch if he doesn't turn up.
No, my guests have to give me a present.
I've got to go.
Yes? Otherwise you'll scare my guests away.
I've seen alchemic lab benches and building sites with less stuff than this dressing table. I should be able to find something useful for dressing up here. White powder, for example. Anything else? Perfume atomizer. Empty, unfortunately. The Red Pirate kept asking me again and again about his costumes when I was drinking with him. I didn't have the heart to tell him we used some of them as oil rags. Wasn't there a... Ah, there! The rabbit costume. A pile of maps, diaries, travel... I was looking for things that promise eternal life. The whole harder to find than you'd think. That's why I had the idea with the gin. These... Wasn't there a book on lorem ipsum here? That's it. All right then. Cast off. I wonder whether... Here. That's what I was looking for. The book describes what the symbols mean. The first one is... a kind of angular stone? Gemstones. Jewels. That's a promising start. The second symbol... Desert. Yeah, makes sense. The city is somewhere in the Umzu Desert. Next. Feet? What have feet got to do with it? Can you only reach the city by foot? The next symbol... 3. 3 feet. That's unusual. Perhaps the last symbol will make it clear. Mountains. Jewels, desert, mountains. The jewel of the desert at the foot of the 3 mountains. That's it. Lorem ipsum. The city with roofs of gold is the jewel of the desert, and it lies at the foot of 3 mountains. And these 3 mountains must be west of Bremen. That should be easy to find. The king and queen keep gifts given to them by delegations from far-off lands in this room. Some of them are rather bizarre. A green top hat. It should be useful. Green top hats always are. What I'd really like to do is go up there, give the old boot a slap round the face, and get Ivo out of this place. But Ivo's mother is a powerful priestess. She's probably got a dozen ways she could incapacitate me without me even noticing. I have to be careful. Ivo's mirror. When I was here, her fat bird sat in front of it most of the time. I remember that from my childhood. You connect the cans with a string and can talk to someone across several meters, just like you could without the cans.